In my video where I talk about the M4A1 being the best gun in Warzone, a lot of you had a lot to say, and this video is going to be all about that. On the best weapon in Warzone video, the most frequent comment I got was, what about the Ram 7 and Grau? And to be fair, I haven't really used those in Warzone that much, unless I find that weird Ram 7 variant that you find on the ground or from crates. I really never used any DLC weapons in the game minus the crossbow and maybe the Renetti. But other than that, I've never tried those guns. So I thought, hey, you know what? I'll try the Ram 7 out and the Grau and compare it to the M4. For this video, I'm only going to be comparing the Ram 7 to the M4A1 because the Grau 5.56 is so similar to the M4A1 that minus a few attachment differences and different attachment variations, both guns perform extremely similarly to each other. The Ram 7, however, is different enough where you could put it head to head with the M4. So when I talk about the M4 versus the Ram 7 in this video, just keep in mind that the Grau is going to be basically the exact same as the M4. I'm going to have some screenshots on the screen of what the stats look like for each weapon, so you can compare all your accuracy and movement stats before any attachments added. Of course, the more attachments you add, the more those stats will change, whether you want an increase in your stats for movements with your gun, or if you want damage range or accuracy, you can always do attachments to buff your stats. Now keep in mind, when you do buff stats, you will decrease your other stats, so you kind of got to find the perfect balance for weapon attachments. Now, right off the bat, the M4 does have more attachment variants. It has a few conversion kits. You can turn the M4A1 into a submachine gun with, I don't even know, I think it's like something NATO rounds. I know that's what the AUG has, so I'm just going to say that. And then it also has the SOCOM rounds, which is the 10 round light machine gun mag, which has a extremely high damage on the M4A1. The Ram 7 does have attachments that can make it very submachine gun like as well, and also increase the range, but none of the attachments on the Ram 7 increase the damage or range enough to give it an extreme advantage with damage range. So overall, the M4 has a better selection of attachments and a better variation of attachments to tailor your gun the way you want to play in the game. Now let's talk about my experience with the Ram 7. Now you know my stance on the M4A1. I'll link the video down below where I talk about it, just so you guys can get my 2 cents on that if you kind of don't know where I'm at with that gun in this current time of Modern Warfare. But the Ram 7, I've enjoyed it. I've gotten, I think, 5-6 victories with it, and then probably another 10-20 games on top of that with high kills. So I've got a lot of experience with the Ram now, and I definitely underestimated the gun. It's really good close to medium range. Long range, it kind of struggles a little bit, where the M4 and the Grau shine with their accuracy at long range. Even with attachments that increase your accuracy with the Ram 7, the M4, at least for me, seems to have better accuracy at longer ranges, but the Ram 7 shreds at close range. Enemies can push from different angles, and you can get some crazy feeds in that. Overall, I think the Ram 7 slightly edges out the M4A1 at those close range encounters, just because the M4 can do good at close range, but I feel like it excels more at the medium to long range, where the Ram excels more in the medium to close range. So if you're going for a long range assault rifle, I would go with the M4, and if you're going with a close range assault rifle, I would go with the Ram 7. Now, of course, that's just my personal opinion on the ranges with these two assault rifles, because you can obviously change your attachments to have that close range advantage. Even with the M4, you can make it into the submachine gun version of the M4. You can also have no stock. You can have attachments that make you ADS quicker. Just with the attachments I run on both these guns, I like to have range within Warzone and damage range, just so I can kill enemies at farther ranges. And the Ram 7 with the attachments I have just slightly outplays the M4 at close range. At long range, it's not even a competition though. The M4 melts. With the attachment setup I have, I'll throw both attachment setups on screen during this portion of the video. It's probably my favorite assault rifle to use in Warzone still at this time, even more than the M13, which I never thought would happen, but I love the range and the accuracy on the M4. Overall, I'm going to give the M4 and the Grau, because the Grau and the M4 are technically very similar with stats and how they play in the game. But I'm going to give the M4A1 the win on this one. The Ram 7 is a great assault rifle. There are players that will be better with the Ram 7 than there will be with the M4A1. And depending on what you subjectively like within Call of Duty, on how your playstyle is and what you like to do within Warzone, you can make attachment setups where the Ram 7 will outclass the M4. Just for my personal taste of the game, the M4 is a little bit better. Now, the Ram 7 is a fun gun overall. I still would consider it to be one of the best guns in the game. I'm not saying just because I like the M4 better that it's just outclassed by everything. The Ram 7 is very similar to the M13, which is why I like the gun. So I would probably put the M4 as my favorite gun, the M13 as my second favorite gun, and then the Ram 7 as my third favorite gun, followed by the Grau. So those would be the top 4 assault rifles that I would use. And then depending on how I feel, I might whip out the FAL somewhere in there in the top 5. But overall, these two weapons are extremely good. I definitely recommend using them for some easy wins. If you want more of a challenge, of course, you can use some more difficult weapons in the game, like the crossbow. But if you're one of those players that likes being sweaty and try hard sometimes, a little bit like me within Warzone, both of these guns are good. I recommend, if you haven't used the M4 in Warzone, try it, but I'm pretty sure everyone has at this point. And if you haven't used the Ram 7, try the gun. And if you haven't used both, use both. They're really good guns, and yeah, that's going to be the video for today, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here. I got the Bruin Gold Camo Guide for the new LMG coming out within the next few days here. I just unlocked it yesterday, and I'm working on the gold gun grind now. I keep postponing the update video, why I'm not uploading frequently, but that's just because things keep changing, and I think on the weekend I will have that video up at some point, as well as the Modern Warfare 2 campaign playthrough will start soon. Check the description for all my social media stuff, as well as the Discord where you can come join us on game nights. Recently we've been playing a lot of Scribble.io in game nights, where everyone will just join the game night chat in Discord and then we all play Scribble.io for a few hours. It gets pretty crazy. So anyway, with that being said, leave a like if you did enjoy, dislike if you didn't. I'm about to head out, and if there is one, I will see you in the next one. Peace.